Hello, everybody. I think this is, as the title of the video suggests, a hidden something that isn't really talked about that much. Not like it's a fucking. I'm talking like it's some kind of major political situation that nobody discusses. But of course, in our bizarre little world and my silly videos, I suppose it kind of is. But Lorne's little chat with Kimmy and Disney Girl. Now this is the Disney Girl chat. We covered it in a recent stream. It's like, I think the information's been out there for a while. It's just, generally people, there's not much to go at, so I don't think anybody's paid much attention to it. Because there's not that much there. But I find this part really insightful, right? This is several days into the chat log with Kayla, right? So you've got to imagine the context. So Lorne has established that in his world at this moment in time, he's a success. He's a successful predator. He's got Kayla on the hook, and he's got her to do things. He's got sexually excited. He thinks he's got this girl, but yet he's running around after other ones. He's like in a frenzy. So what is he trying to do now? Obviously, we know that his excuses with regard to he just wanted to befriend her. He found it interesting. He was like overcome with feelings of gratitude because someone finally was paying him attention and were after his money. Even the most stupid of human beings would know that that is bullshit. You don't need me to tell you that. This just highlights it more. That he was going after these other children that he thought was children. Like, this was a decoy. Disney Girl is a decoy set up by perverted justice. Lorne has always protested that perverted justice adopted insincere tactics. Now, I will let you decide that for yourself. For what it's worth, my opinion is that is total bullshit, because perverted justice wouldn't need to do that. There's no logical reason for them to do that. It's like fucking somebody who's going to win an election by landslide rigs the vote. There's no reason for you to do that. Not to get involved in current political issues, but yeah, I think you get the point that I'm making. So I think we can dismiss. I can't tell any. You got to make your own mind up. But there's no doubt in my mind that he tried it on with these other decoys, because there is no fucking way that somebody had the time to make this bit up here, because this is exactly what Lorne would have written. And what's really interesting about this is, well, we'll go into that in a minute. Just touching upon what I was saying about the context of what he was doing at this point. He'd already got his target. So what was he trying to do? Was he trying to just get as many of these girls as he could? I used to think there was a part of him, I still do to a degree think there's this part of him that's got this little romantic fantasy in his head, because he talks about it in the chat log where he's like, oh, we'll be lying in a field stroking each other's hair. But yeah, what the fuck is he doing running around trying it on with all these kids? It's not. I suppose what we could say, this is a possibility. He could be trying similar tactics with every girl in that chat room, including just any female, basically. Even as like a female canine in there, like, fucking Sally. Not to say that any girl with the name Sally is a canine, but you get what I'm saying. Sally, and there's a picture of a fucking Labrador, and Lorne saying, oh, you're a cutie too, I've got two, all that kind of shit. The point is, I don't know. I don't want to make any assumptions, and that isn't to try and defend Lorne. It's to speak from the truth. I'm not interested in, oh yeah, Lorne's fucking tried to screw a kid, that must mean he's a genocidal maniac. No, let's stick to the truth. Is it possible that he was adopting this tactic with every female in that chat room at that time? It's possible. I don't think so. For a start, you wouldn't try this kind of tactic on with women of age. This is a very specific... No, actually, I suppose you could. But if you look at the content, I mean, we'll go into this now. This is what interests me, right? And it kind of, the stance I always take with these. I try not to let emotion get in the way and try and view even the predators as human beings. But this really fucking winds me up. Like, even the first 4 letters do me a favour. It's like, oh, I'm seething with rage. It's like, I always have a propensity to give humans the benefit of the doubt, because as a general rule, as individuals and as species, we haven't got a fucking clue what we're doing. We're so... I wish... Once you start... I'm not saying I'm in possession of any knowledge that anybody else isn't. It's just... I just spend my time reading rather than binge watching. All it is, I'm fascinated by human psychology. The more you look into it, the more you realise just how fucking clueless we are. And obviously I have to count myself in that. I'm making fucking videos about Lorne Armstrong, for God's sake. But really, so I always... I know that we're lost as individuals and as species, so... I could go on about the things I've learned over the last few years, but let's stick to the... That's why I have a tendency to some people, what I might go a bit easier on them than what some people might believe. I don't make videos just for the sake of saying, oh, there's a monster, well, of course they are in that aspect. But, there is a but. When it comes to Lorne, it's fucking... If you could look at Lorne and see the things he says and listen to him without getting angry or frustrated, you would be on enlightenment level of Jesus Christ. Do you know what I mean? It's just... I understand people's propensity to go after him, because what's worse than someone that tried to do what he did, who won't admit it, that won't even... Not even a hint of it. Like, there's no responsibility. There's no I've done wrong. That's the whole point of it. But this little... I could probably write a book about this fucking... Just this. Probably several. But I'm just going to do a video about it. So let's... we've established the context, right? What day is it? 22nd. Right, so we're approximately 5 days into the chat log with Kayla. After 5 days of Kayla, Lorne has got the bait. There's no doubt about it. That he's got her to do things. He's got everything he ever wanted from her. There will be, I believe this is fear. I believe he's aware that at any moment Kayla could wake up and smell the roses, basically, and like, what the fuck am I doing with this freak? So I think that is the main motivate. Well, not. That's one of the motivating factors behind him doing this, because he's afraid of losing her, and there's evidence of that sprinkled through the chat log. When he gets jealous of Derek, when he, fucking shouts at her, tells her what to do, manipulates the relationship between it, all the kind of shit. It's fucking mental. So you've got... Context is very important with regard to what he's doing. So I believe that, like I said, I think that's why he's doing this. And then on another level, you've got the fact that I believe, this is my view of Lorne's, I don't think he's an out-and-out, like, a pedo, like McFetridge. That's a controversial view, but that's, I don't believe he's got that level. I think that he's attracted to adult women. I also think he's attracted to these younger girls as well. I believe there's a possibility some of that may stem from the fact that he had a completely dysfunctional adolescence, a completely chaotic upbringing and school life. I think that he never matured, so he's still stuck at that level. That's what I believe. However, he kind of, should have fucking had enough sense about him to realise what he's doing, and he just never seems to question himself. And there's a lot of people that go through life like that. They never really stop and take stock of their life. There's not that many people that can do that. You really well, no, it's not strictly true. it's like a level. It's like what happens is like a flower kind of like blossoming. Really, it's having the ability to step outside your normal level of awareness and the normal programming that you're shown, or sort of is imposed upon you as you grow up in the modern world. We have so much thrown at us that the real you is kind of lost. It's not really there. And Lorne has never he's never questioned himself ever. He's never took stock and go, oh my fucking word. Because if he did truly, I think there's that part of him that knows he's fucked up. He's not completely insane. The guy is able to function in life. He can hold down a job. He can maintain very low level relationships. He has a level of resourcefulness about him. When you hear him on the phone when he was dressing up his brother or whatever it were, he sounded quite professional on the phone. He's not a complete well, fuck, I can't believe I just said that. And that's where kind of some of the fascination comes from, because he's not John Kennelly level of fucking, that guy's, I mean, he's just a fucking complete moron. I think you get what I think maybe you understand what I'm getting at. Anyway, I've not even fucking started yet, have I? The reason this pisses me off, right, is even the first bit, do me a favour, right? Look, this is, right, the interesting thing about the chat with Disney Girl is that she never fucking spoke to him. The decoy, this, you had like Kimmy here, actually spoke to him, but he said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words in a letter. That's all he got from Kimmy. Disney Girl got fuck all, right? I'm getting... Oh, right, that's what he said to Kayla. So, Lorne said that to Disney Girl. Sorry, to Kayla. I'm getting in the show, my precious princess. My cam's on for you. And then 50 minutes later, he's trying it on with other... You're such a little princess. You're so cute, lol. And he's not got anything back. It's probably because the decoys are aware. It might be the same. Sherry Twist may have been playing the part of several decoys, so I believe she will have been aware of who Lorne was and that she'd already got him on the hook with Kayla. So there was no point engaging him in this conversation. So because Lorne's not got a response from her, he's then brought out the big guns. You know what I mean? It's like... It's like I can imagine a comedian stood up there and he's like, "Whoa, better bring out the big guns." It's like when Krusty does that thing and he does the fucking racist, that'd never get broadcast now. Whoa, better bring out the big guns. Terrible Krusty. But it's kind of like that, innit? And he's thinking, oh shit, oh, she's not responding to the princess. Oh my god, you're so cute. The guy's not giving up, so he's. Basically, it's an all-out, right, I'm throwing everything I've got, rockets, fucking everything, fire. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, look at this. Do me a favour. It's total manipulation. Just every fucking word. It's just, he's so, I mean, it's a common trait with what these guys do. It's just so frustrating. Like, he kind of... It's a strange thing because he's aware what he's doing. He's fully aware what he's doing to an extent, and I think that's what riles people so much. Anyway, shall I get cracking? Do me a favour pisses me off, because think about the context here. In Lorne's mind at the moment, he's talking to what is an underage girl, right? I think we can safely say that. How old? We don't, 13, 14, doesn't really matter how old. But we know she will have been underage. Do me a favour. Right, so you're asking a young girl who's never fucking spoke to you ever before to do you a favour. I might be fucking looking into this too much, because it's not like he has sat there spending hours coming up with this. It's just rolled off. It's like a stream of consciousness, and he's fucking put it down there. Do you know what I mean? But do me a favour. Okay. Right. Well, that's... you not you. This girl has got nothing to do with you. You know what are you asking? Who are you asking for a favour from? You know what I mean? It's like just randomly going up to a fucking stranger in the street. Do me a favour. You'd be like, what? Who the fuck are you? Do me a favour and don't talk to any guys. So, well, let's just go back to the favour bit, right? I could write a book just on this bit. Because it's like arrogance. But what do you mean? Why would a complete stranger and a young girl want to do you a favour? But the favour isn't, something for him. Sorry, for her. Well, fucking hell. Do me a favour, okay? And don't talk to any guys on here. Now, let's believe him until he gives us reason to not do. Okay, so let's just pretend. Well, let's not pretend. Let's believe him. Because we have to believe someone until they give us reason not to. Because lies are very easy to spot, generally. Because people are generally not very good at telling lies. Do me a favour and don't talk to any guys on here. Okay, so it could be that Lorne is some kind of internet, is a humanised virgin. He probably humanised virgin. A humanised version of not an internet provider, and he's fucking running around in chat rooms just telling young girls to stay away from guys. It's possible. So like I said, let's believe him until he gives us reason not to. Do me a favour. So what it could be is that he's concerned for the safety of children. Do me a favour. And doing him the favour is because he wants to protect people. He wants to protect children. You've heard that before, haven't you? Do me a favour and don't talk to any guys on here. Okay. Including me. Okay, right. So, okay, but you kind of maybe contradicting that by talking to her at this moment, but let's believe him. Because there's no reason not to at this point. Do me a favour and don't talk to any guys on here. Norton Internet Provider is telling you not to talk to guys with no context of why. Then he says, including me. Okay, right. So that would, if we are to believe him, that would mean that he has no self-serving interest at this point. It's all to protect someone. And then I'm good to talk to. So from believing someone to very easily being able to spot the lie is immediately after the including me of I'm good to talk to, where he has completely contradicted what he's just said. Don't talk to any guys on here, including me. Now that would be a sound advice and a sound, well-constructed sentence, because he is a guy and any guys include him. Then he immediately goes back on that and says, I'm good to talk to. Because, so there's an explanation here. Okay, so you've lied to her. You've asked her to do you a favour. Don't talk to any guys on here, including me. Okay, she doesn't have to respond, so technically she's not talking to anybody. So, like I said, up to this point we can believe him. No, you can't believe him because he's just contradicted himself. And he's saying, I'm good to talk to. Okay, so he's got a need to persuade her that he's good. If you're saying, I'm good to somebody, it's unnecessary, which means it's not true. So immediately, just a blatant lie. You don't need an expert in statement analysis to fucking uncover this fucking bomb here. I'm good to talk to. Because I'm safe. Okay. It's interesting that he chooses safe. Because he knows he's not. Because he's a need to persuade her. It's scare tactics, isn't it? Obviously. But what's interesting about this is he says, I'm safe. So he knows. That word is on his mind. He knows that he isn't safe. He knows that she's in danger. Because he's trying to, this is straight from his brain. I'm good to talk to because I'm safe. But you never know what weirdo you might meet up with. You never know is like a bit of a, it's scare tactics, isn't it? he's trying to instill fear into her. It's like, and I've not even mentioned, do me a favour and don't. It's like an order. So he's saying, do me a favour and don't talk to any guys on here, including me, then contradicts himself. So like every utterance that's coming out and every point that he's trying to make, it's all about him and him satisfying his needs in any way possible. And it doesn't matter how he's going to do it. The guy's got no good there at this point. I'm not saying that like, I believe as I've said, I believe there is the sprinkle, there is the essence of goodness in every human, but it can become so covered up by the ego that there's the real humanity is hidden so deep it would take a massive hammer to crack, and that's the situation with this guy now. So it's, do me a favour, fuck off, don't, and order, talk to any guys on here, including me, then fucking goes against that and says I'm good to talk to because I'm safe, knowing that she isn't safe. But you never know. Okay, so he's trying to scare her. It's like taking her on this ride, but you never know what weirdo. Now, this is a word that he has mentioned before in the chat with Kayla a couple of times. And fantastically, it's what Chris Hansen says to him in the uncut footage, which is just fantastic. You never know what weirdo. So he knows he's not safe. He's bringing up these words. This is free recall. I'm safe, but you never know what weirdo. He knows he's a weirdo, which is rather disturbing if he's not doing anything about it. Or is it that he doesn't see himself as one of those guys? He knows all about the dangers of the internet. He knows all about what kind of people are on there, what guys are after. But he's separate. Does he separate himself from that? There is a strong, because it's, Tiffany has said in the calls with him, he doesn't see him. He doesn't want to see himself as one of those guys. He knows that he'll fuck anything. It doesn't matter how old it is. I think there's probably a limit to, the age. But, well, you know what I mean. But, does he see himself as one of those? You never know what weirdo you might meet up with from the internet, and I'd hate to see anything happen to you. Well, I'd hate to see anything happen to you. It's just obviously pure manipulation. There's the fear. It's like, he thinks it's pretty ridiculous that this would work, and the only reason he's done this is because in his head he thinks it's worked with Kayla. You've got to remember all the big guns that he's thrown at Kayla. Oh, these are my two dogs. Oh, you're a princess. I'm falling in love with you. At this point, he thinks that is a tried and tested tactic. So, of course, he's going to be running around playing fucking silly beggars. Christ knows what else he came out with. You never know what weirdo you might meet up with from the internet, and I'd hate to see anything happen to you. Well, okay, so you've never even spoke to this girl. She's never even said anything to you. So if it's to be believed, you're spending your entire time just running around protecting kids. Mr. Penis protects kids. It's fucking fascinating, isn't it? And then at the end, the rose to try and flatter her. Do you know what I mean? It's like, obviously, it could work with a girl, this, because if you got like a 13-year-old girl who's vulnerable, who's like victim number was and had, problems with family, I believe her father was an alcoholic. These are exactly the kind of kids that people like Lorne go after. And I'm not saying that there will be some that deliberately go after them because they know that they are weak and that they can't really protect themselves, and that they are desperate for any kind of flattery, any kind of human contact. In some cases, it will be a conscious effort. In some cases, it will just be because that's all they can get. The problem is with girls that are vulnerable is they seek out. They may not know it consciously, and that's the problem. with them being children, they don't necessarily seek out people like Lorne, but because they are desperate for any kind of human contact, positive human contact, because they may come from an abusive family, they may have been abused themselves, sexually abused. It's tragic that people in Lorne's position will seek out people like that, and you know they're both damaged people from a different aspect. She's too young to understand what's going on, but girls like that generally will seek out people, not necessarily, like I said, not consciously seek out people like Lorne, but the kind of attention that they will want that they don't get from the father. You see Lorne coming out with this bullshit of do me a favour and then throwing the orders around and I'm a good guy but you can't talk to anybody else. You never know what's going to happen out there. It's going to be scary. Don't listen to them weirdos. You might meet up. I'd hate to see anything happen to you. And then the rose. Now, if Lorne had anything at his disposal, let's just say that he was good looking, he was successful, this could work on a lot of girls. He doesn't have that much in his arsenal. You know what I mean? Like if you see some of the people on the show that are maybe good looking, got good jobs, things like that, a bit more about them, they will have been able to successfully groom kids. Lorne will struggle. Lorne, but we must remember that Lorne, from Lorne's perspective, this is what I always try to remember. It's like I'm getting, reading this, getting fucking pissed off and frustrated at him. Because you've got a propensity now to think Lorne is pure evil. From one perspective, I understand it, but you must understand that from Lorne's perspective here, he's a broken, beaten, defeated man. And that he doesn't think he can get anybody his own age. Does that make it right? Of fucking course it doesn't, because he should be strong enough and wise enough to know that he cannot do this. You cannot do this to children. But from his perspective, it's all survival tactics. It's like, right, I need a woman, I need a girl, I've got to, otherwise I'm nothing, I can't get anybody my own age. That could be his perspective. You got to make your own mind up about that. It's just the way there's always reasonings behind people, even the most despicable behaviour. You know what I mean? It's like from Lorne's, but it's decisions that he's made that have led him to this point. It's like, of course, he had a difficult upbringing. Everything was tough well, not everything, but a lot was tough for him, etc. But he always chose to make the wrong choice. He chose to run away from the Betty situation. He chose not to. And the thing is, you could say, well, he didn't know any better, and of course he didn't, but life is always trying to tell him to do better, to take stock of your life, but he never has, and that's why we find it interesting. Even like if you look at the other predators, I can't think of any off the top of my head that have just really gone out and out to deny responsibility. It's like you look at the doctor, right, the cancer research Dr. Woolen, was it? Tall Dreamy Doc. He spent a lot of money on his law, on his defence to try and get out of it. But he will know deep down that he shouldn't have done what he'd done. He will internally take responsibility for it. He just doesn't want to give up his freedom, and you wouldn't, would you? But with Lorne, he genuinely doesn't think he's done anything wrong. He doesn't, you know what I mean? Fucking hell. And it's do me a favour and don't talk to any guys on here, including me. I'm good to talk to. It's just so funny, isn't it, that he immediately goes back on that, including me. I'm good to talk to because I'm safe. Fuck you. Oh, shit, man. Anyway, should we leave it there? I've been fucking talking too long about one little sentence. Well, it's not. It's quite a big sentence. Small paragraph, we'd say. I'm all loaned out now. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this little rant. I think it's kind of an interesting little diversion, this, isn't it? Back to old Lorne. We love looking at this guy. Christ knows what is it. What the fuck is wrong with us? What is wrong with us? Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed. Isn't that great? I make videos and there's a subtle way of me fucking insulting everybody who's listening to it. But before you get insulted, think I'm just the same as you. I make the videos and you listen to them, so we're all in it together. Anyway, I hope you're having a good day, and I will speak to you soon.